Hello everyone, so here's another long video. So in this video I'm going to explain about the timeline of ORB, which is really complex but not at all. The timeline isn't that complex, so you have to understand something, which is the timeline of Kim Dokja, timeline of Yoo Jung Young, and timeline of Han Swing. That's the only thing you need to understand. So let's begin. But at first you have to forget everything you know about the timeline because I will explain. So let's begin into the main video. So timeline of Yoo Jung Young. So he is 0th to 1863 world line. All the world line he survived alone. There is no Kim Dokja in this world lines, but there's another round, 1863rd copy round. We will talk about later. So after the final regression or the 1864th world line, which overlap with the real world of ORP, the real world of Kim Dokja, the Kim Dokja who lost his father when he was a kid, and his mother got present due to the child trauma, or take the blame killing of Kim Dokja's father, and she write a book inside the prison for so that Kim Doja could live happily, but Kim Doja lived through trauma, and for to recover from the trauma he read Ways of Survival till the day when the fiction became the reality, and the 1864th world line overlap with the real world of ORB. And later on, after some scenarios, Han Shuang get a better skill, but she split herself into 50 and 50%. Since due to too much loss of memories, Han Shuang that averted got lost control, and she went into another world. Later on, after the Demon King selection war arc, Kim Dokja sacrificed himself or give himself to a security plotter to save the demon realm. And after that, security plotter sent him into 1863rd world line copy version with a mission to kill Yoo Jung Young. And on this world line, Kim Dokja met with Han Shuang, the 50% of Han Shuang that got lost from, and the 1863rd world line Yoo Jung Young. So that Yoo Jung Young tell his whole story to Han Shuang, and he even agreed with Han Shuang to kill himself because he wants to die now. There's nothing to do with him, he just want to die peacefully, and Han Shuang has a plan to seal him with the sword of the final dragon in eternal sleep. But him to say sleep and death is two different things, and due to that complex, Yoo Jung Young divided himself in 50% and 50% who wants to live, the 50% who wants to live and the 50% who wants to die. So the 50% who wants to die got killed, and the 50% who want to live regressed again, and that version of him create another world that no one knows about. So since 50% of himself died, so their task, which was to kill Yoo Jung Young, that get complete. But the Han Shuang 1863rd world line Han Shuang recreated version, so she decided to stay here and is the end, and Kim Dokja went back to their world, 1864th world. And after that, during the journey to the West Rigenmerk war arc, and when Kim Dokja got a fight with security plotter who has reincarnated into the scenario as their enemy. So at that point of time, we know about we get revealed one thing: the Yoo Jung Young, the 50% of Yoo Jung Young who get regressed, he create another world, and which is the 1864th world, and the world that overlap with Kim Dokja's reality. That's the world that 50% of Yoo Jung Young had created, and the security plotter, the oldest existence of Ways of Survival, he is none other than the original Yoo Jung Young of 1863rd world, the original version who watched everything. And after the anime of the stories, or after the final scenario when Kim Dokja meet with himself, or the 15 years old Kim Dokja, the oldest dream, he got to kill him, but secret plot has to stop him and take all his dream along with him. But later on, King Doja realized that the world won't exist without the dreamer. Someone has to dream about the stories. So that's why he split himself into 49% and 51%. The 49 on him go with his friend and live happily, and the 51 of him stay inside the metro, go outside of the fourth wall, go outside of the final wall, and reach the starting of all world line, which is 0th one, and he started to observe all the world of Yoo Jung Young. But the 49% of him get exposed by Han Shuang, and Han Shuang refused to live with Kim Dokja, who doesn't know anything about the Voice of Survival. So that's why Han Shuang almost killed him, but later on their group or their teams decided to do group regression and create 1865th world line, and they did along with the 49% of Kim Dokja. On the other side, in 1863rd recreated version, Anshuang reached the end and she wants to meet with Kim Dokja. So Dokkaebi King help her and went back in time into the real world, into the world of ORP where Kim Dokja was a kid, a little kid, a 15 years old Kim Dokja. So Hansheng thought he would create like Kim Dokja is the writer and he has another account of himself. But when nothing happened and the day come where almost the web server started, she understand what's the reality. Then she created an account of TLS 123 and write a book Ways of Survival with the main character of Yang Jong. Yes, she is the writer. But let me explain some rules that Hansheng could only be awake at night and at day the other half of Hansheng would be awake because both of them share the same body. So the young Hansheng, 15 years old Hansheng who is 100% memory, and the future Hansheng who is 50% of memories. That's why the kid Hansheng got the memories of Voice of Survival through her dream and eventually write triple S great infinite regress or something like that. So when she said I didn't copy the Voice of Survival, she was right. She never copied Voice of Survival. She was always right. Till the day when the scenario began into the real world, Hansheng wants to meet with Kim Jong after publishing the final chapter. So she told to Dokkaebi King to protect Kim Dokja with any cost possible, to protect him from the gaze of constellation in the scenario, because unknowingly she also fell in love with Kim Dokja. Anyway, Hansheng ran into the metro station to meet with him, but the scenario begins, rules change, and the limitation put her away, and she disappeared before she could reach him. She disappeared from this world, and that 50% of her went back into the world 1865th world where she get merged with her other half or our Hansheng. And then Hansheng realized the voice of survival that she thought Kim Dokja right, that was herself who write the voice of survival, the other half of her own self. After that, entire Nebula or entire Kimcom reach the end and defeat the Dokkaebi King or the fourth wall. And after that, the 49% of Kim Dokja and the 51% who was a kid in kid body, both of them get merged into 15 years old Kim Dokja's body. So Han Shuang take her back into their world line, 1864th world line, but he was unconscious. So let me explain some doubts. Why Kim Dokja is kid when all the Kim Kong or the oldest dream is a kid when the Kim Kong met with him. So the reason when Kim Dokja went back into the timeline from the 0th regression, he started to watch the life of Yo Jong Young. He was started to lose his memories regarding his friend, and he started to decrease and ended up becoming a 15 years old kid who knows nothing other than the stories of Voice of Survival. That's why back into the Demon King realm, when oldest dream look at Kim Dokja, he couldn't able to recognize himself because he know nothing about himself. So the other question is why the 50% of our Hansheng always get the dream. So the reason, because the both 50% and 50% are connected to each other, and that's why Hansheng saw Kim Dokja through her dreams when he was in 1863rd world line. If there's some other questions for you and some doubts, I don't think there would be, because I explained everything along with images. But still, if you have doubts, you can ask me. No problem, I'll answer. But the timeline is in confused. Watch again if you are still confused. Everything would be get cleared. La 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 la. So high, so high, so high.